speaking of using your time not wisely, Chris, you have seen Mufasa. Can
Sadly, I have. Yes. It's, I mean, no surprise. It's hot garbage for single-digit age children. It is the prequel that tells the story of Simba's father, Mufasa, and it's everything you would expect. Completely forgettable. It's a 2-hour. I mean, there's several problems with this movie to begin with. One, why did they make it? Two, the live action animals are not they're not whimsical. Whereas the original Lion King as drawn is very whimsical. These are like photorealistic animals talking, and that you can barely tell them apart. I don't know if that makes me animalist, because I can't tell which character is what, that line is that. I can't tell. It's one of the worst scripts. I'm not sure if you're aware who directed it. Let me tell you who directed it. A guy named Barry Jenkins. Do you know who he is?
Nope.
No, I do.
He is the director behind the Best Picture Oscar film Moonlight, about a gay man that comes to terms with his sexuality, that won Best Picture in 2016 when
nearly didn't win it when they read out the wrong film.
Yeah, that's the year
they got the wrong film. They said La La
Land,
and then it did win. La La Land was the wrong film. Moonlight did win.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I meant. They nearly didn't. They nearly didn't get it.
In any case, if you look at his resume as a filmmaker, nothing says make this movie for children. He was cast as a director, clearly.
Yes.
And it's not, some of the lines are so bad. For example, one character, Simba's so upset with his character by the end of the movie, I'm not going to call you your name anymore. I will call you Scar, because you have a scar, right? I mean, I burst out laughing. It's so bad. And the movie is not, I can't say the script was written with AI.
It's got three writers on it, Chris. Jeff Nathanson.
I got to make my point here. It wasn't written with AI that I know about, but a lot of films these days have the feeling as if they were written with AI. Let me give you an example. Alien Romulus. And what does AI do when it comes to art? How is it utilized? How is it used in writing or whatnot? It's a randomizer. When you're designing your character for a game, I get impatient. I'm not going to spend 8 hours designing a character and their eyebrows and nose. And you know what? I click randomize. I like that. Let's go. That's what this is. The script was randomized of moments from the original Lion King movie, which is beloved, and I think is a really great film for its time in the early 90s. So many movies these days where this happens, but nothing matters. This is another one of those movies. It's 2 hours. They'll do well opening weekend, drop like a bomb, and this is just another crack in the armor that was once trusted brand, Disney. But it is 2 hour running time. Trust me, the audience that this movie is for, which is single digit age children, 10 and under, will be bored out of their skulls. So it's awful. It's, again, Disney can't do anything new. And why did they pick Barry Jenkins to oversee this project? Someone did him a favor. Someone said, hey, do you want to make a lot of money and you can just have Zoom calls with animators? Which is, it feels like how the movie was directed, like over Zoom. Because obviously you're not on a set, right? You're dealing with animators who are doing the real heavy lifting. But Moonlight, no one remembers that movie. The only thing you remember about that movie is that it almost didn't win because they said the wrong name.
Yeah.
That's the only reason you would even remember Moonlight. So so that it's god awful. I don't even know if you want to see it. I mean, is it worth seeing? I don't know. Gary, you probably don't care. No. But I see everything. It's so worthless.
And by the way, like,
one last thing, Disney knows it's bad. They did not even submit it for best animated feature for Oscar consideration.
Right.
Okay, what does that tell you? So there's my rant.
Well, was it after? What's interesting as well, like the period, because you were saying like the target audience is like kids who are like in single digit ages, right? You would think if it's a Lion King property, like the target audience is going to be way older. They're almost going to target like the adults who are looking for the nostalgia hit of like the movies they saw in the 90s, and they'll take their kids along to go see it as well.
Yeah, what do they have a name for that? Disney adults or kidults? There's a new term, kidults.
Kid stuff, that's got very creepy connotations.
But I get it. Like, I totally get it, but it's like it makes you feel dirty at the same time.
But there's no reason for this to ever have been made. It's another IP cash cow, and it's sad. It's sad, the state of animation in Disney. And and like I said, the whole AI thing, where I'm watching it and like, it's not AI, it's a remix of the majority of the movie is, remember Timon and Pumbaa, or the fuck their names are.
Yeah.
You guys know their names. Pumbaa, Timon and Pumbaa, whatever. And this character and that I'm like, you're just throwing out member berries of the first cartoon, which launched the whole thing. I mean, it's god awful. And God, even Alan Ng, who I on my channel on Film Thread, I do reviews with, he was like, it's profoundly bad. He was so angry. We did a live stream the very next day to talk about it. So he was so pissed off. But the Disney brand is dead. Not to mention, I'm sure we'll come up the trans character cut from that Pixar show. We'll bring that up later.
In a minute,
But yeah, it's Disney cannot be trusted, and this movie is dismissible, and you won't be talking or even remember it next week if it goes see it. There's something like, where the new, like Alien Romulus, you can have a similar discussion. Here's all these things
shitty
you remember.
Christmas for movies. Like, this is
like
a particularly shitty Christmas. Yeah. The only thing worth a fuck to talk about is Nosferatu.
For sure.
Sonic 3 is coming out too.
Is that? That's coming out like Christmas
Sonic
Day
3.
or something.
Okay. Well, you enjoy Sonic 3. All right, that's good. Yeah. And I hope it's great. I hope it kills. I hope it beats Moana, Mufasa, whatever the fuck is out right now.
Moana 2 is doing crazy numbers, isn't it? Like that's
and that's also terrible.
Yeah.
And I could give the same review for Moana 2 as I just did for Mufasa.
Really?
Change the name. Seriously, it's single digit age, forgettable songs, nothing memorable. Remember the last movie.
Wait, is Tumor and Pinball in that one as well? Or?
Yeah, Tumor and Pinball.
Tumor and Pinball.
I don't fuck.
Just say Pinball makes me think of fucking Con Air. Hey, Pinball!
The first
has
movie,
everybody seen Lion King, the animated Lion King? Everybody here?
Fuck that movie.
Yeah, awful.
What, the live action one?
No, the first live action one is
the original.
The original one, I love.
2019 one.
The cartoon is very good.
Oh
yeah, the original is amazing.
I've never seen it.
Live action one. No,
I've never seen
the 9 films on at my local cinema. 7 of them are either sequels or re-releases. Or
that's pretty much everything that's come out this year. Out of the big tentpole releases,
7 of 9 films.
Out of the tentpole releases this year, I remember counting, it was like 43. 2 of them could be considered original properties, and one of them was Borderlands.
Yeah,
which was the first adaptation. So.
The Wild Robot and Craven the Hunter are the two.
The Wild Robot,
that was nice. Good.
The Wild Robot was really good.
Yeah,
I like the Wild Robot.
Craven the Hunter, not good.
One thing I find kind of funny, by the way, is that the 2 movies that are going head to head today are Lion King, Mufasa the Lion King, sorry, and Sonic 3. The same complaint kind of happened with both of the previous ones. You had the original, well, not the original, but the first time they remade Lion King, and everyone was like, I can't tell the emotions on it looks terrible. The CG needs to be redone.
Yes.
They did not bother to fix it. It's the same in this one from what I've seen, because I was going to go see it for, review purposes, but I canceled because I was on this today. Then you have Sonic, which actually dialed back, decided, hey, we're going to fix this fucking problem. We're going to nip this in the bud, and it's actually been a successful series. So I find it funny that they are going head to head today. You have the one that refused to fix the problem, and they could have just did it in a sequel. They could have made them more anthropomorphic looking in the sequel, and they didn't. Or prequel.
Why are you saying it like the first one didn't make the most money ever? Like,
I'm saying, but they didn't address the
why would they?
The one main issue a lot of people had with it, which was that all of them just looked like bland-faced, just regular animals.
No, you're right. Like, from a creative point of view, you're 100% right. From a money point of view, no one gives a fuck, because
I'm just saying, I'm not necessarily saying that they didn't make their money. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that they had the data and the money off of the first one to fix the problem, and they didn't.
It is a creatively bankrupt, fucking soulless remake, that 2019 one. That it makes sense. This movie came as a result of that, and it made so much fucking money. They were like, let's just make a bit more. I don't think anyone actually gave a shit about the original Lion King.
That I think as well is a problem you can't overcome with essentially working with photorealistic animation. That's the problem you have. Like, you can't have an animal that looks like a realistic lion, but also has humanistic expressions. Those two things are not compatible, and so you're never going to be able to overcome that problem. You either have to go hyper stylized, like essentially the original cartoon, or you have to go like super realistic, in which case you're going to get these weird animals with their blank faces, because animals don't have human emotions like that. And it's like, you can't get over that fundamental problem with live action. It just can't be done. This is the thing you can't work with, and that's the original Lion King, or I say original, the Lion King live action remake lulled them into this belief that they can just do anything with that property and make a shit zillion dollars.
Dude, that thing making a shit zillion dollars was a nightmare for the future of Disney remakes. They were like, fuck yes, look at this. What else can we do? Yeah. And we've basically rolled out for all of them.
Everything. Now. Like, they're just doing their whole back catalogue again. That's all it is. Mm-hmm. And again, like, Cinderella, I think, was the first one that they did with live action remakes, and that was before the current era of Disney movie making, shall we say. So it wasn't woke, and it was just like a fairly faithful adaptation. Again, it did really well, and so that made them believe that they could do all of this again. You got Beauty and the Beast, and then they carried on from there. And like, it led us to the path that we're going down now, which is going to culminate in Snow White, which is probably going to kill the concept of these live action remakes.